Today we get to sit with Katy Charlier, and Katy Charlier has some absolutely amazing production. She sells 5.5 houses a month with herself and just one other transaction coordinator, which in the world of real estate, that is quite a bit. So inside of our region, inside of Keller Williams' region, there's 3,500 agents, and Katy Charlier is in the top 10 of all 3,500. Katy, your first year in real estate, when was that?
Well, it'll be 4 years now.
4 years now?
Yeah, 4 years.
Tell us, can you bring us back to that start?
Oh my goodness. Well, thankfully to Tony Odgers.
Yeah.
She is my friend, and she started real estate, and I thought, wow, that's everything I ever wanted to do. I went to school for accounting. My first job was at a bank. I worked in mortgages, and I thought, if she's in this, I got to get the scoop, because I never heard of Keller Williams, and she shared the story of the culture and the belief, and I knew that's where I wanted to be.
Sure.
And it was a leap of faith.
And what were you doing before real estate?
For 20 years, I worked at a dental office. I was a treatment coordinator, and I loved my job. And it wasn't that I needed to leave. I just thought, I'm in my 50s. If I'm ever going to make a change, I need to do it now. And I'm so happy I did.
Was it hard getting your first deal?
No, it really wasn't.
Okay.
Because my first deal was family.
Sure.
And yes, it was really, I made a lot of mistakes.
Sure.
But unfortunately, it was somebody with Keller Williams.
and
it was wonderful. Erin Bartolozzi, she will always hold a special spot in my heart.
She kind of helped you through it, even though you were on the other side.
She corrected things. She goes, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Absolutely. That is very important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't get that when you go outside the organization.
Right.
Which is great. Tell me what the hardest thing your first year.
I think the hardest, and it still is hard for me, when you don't get the client at an interview. And I still can cry when that happens.
Sure.
But we can't please everyone.
Right.
We can't. And more importantly, I now realize I cannot be less of who I am to make a deal come together. Because I like to sleep at night, and you know what? I don't want to do anything that just does not feel right. Sure. And that's the hardest, is that adversity of personalities that you can't fix.
Yeah.
You can't match.
There's a whole group of people that we won't necessarily get their business or earn their business.
And it's not a flaw. It's not a flaw. And that's one thing that if I could teach any new agent, but don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Be bold and just go for it, because you never know. You might help them become a better person. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a really important piece you just said, is that you can't please everybody. And there are certain personality types that just sometimes you don't even want to be. They're either too strong of a personality, or they're just somebody that you don't want to do business with. And in real estate, that's okay.
Right.
You get to pick who you do business with, and you don't have to be all of them.
You don't. I think one thing, that I didn't really learn it in this career, but I certainly use it in this career. Be a star. I was taught this when I was a little girl. Be a star. And a star is we are all going to get into situations. In realtors, we get in some pretty tough situations that we have to make a phone call and that we don't want to make.
Sure.
T, what's the task? What do you got to do for the situation? A, take action. Don't wait. Don't put it on the back burner. Get it done. R, you'll see the result. You'll be so happy. Take that star, put it back up in the sky, and where it belongs, and it's not a big deal.
I love that. So that's how you approach it sometimes.
Every situation, whenever I get when you get a phone call and it's from the agent you're working with, you always wonder, why are they calling me?
Sure.
And
gives you an
before
opportunity
I
to
even
shine.
answered, I'm like, this may be a star.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love that. In real estate, longevity and real estate professionals, they don't go hand in hand typically. A lot of times, a lot of agents get burned out within their first year. Take me to a point like in between years 1 and 4, maybe in the middle, where it started to get really difficult, or you were thinking like, man, this is tougher than I thought. Or give me some things that you think that helped you get through, or some tough times in the middle kind of where you are today? Is there anything that comes?
I am not good at delegating. I'm not good at. I just think I want to do it all myself.
Okay.
And I finally realized I needed help.
Okay.
And I got a transaction coordinator, Angie Green, and she changed my life. She's amazing. She takes the worry of deadlines and dates out of my day. She keeps the communication open between everybody in the transaction so I can keep moving forward.
Sure. Awesome. So when did you, what year, was it like year 2 or 3?
Well, yeah, it was after my second year. I was in my second year pretty far into it, and I finally realized it's hard. It's hard in the beginning because it's cost money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what you find out is if you spend some money, you make more.
Yeah, you
because
can make more of it.
They help you.
Yeah, absolutely, and you get a little bit of your life back.
Yes.
And it's probably something that a lot of times top producers don't necessarily enjoy doing the task, the details of it. So that's great. So you introduced her into your business. Year 2.5-ish,
yes,
maybe 3.
Right.
Sure.
And I should have did it sooner.
Good.
But I got a cleaning lady too because my husband saw what a difference Angie made, and then I convinced him that a cleaning lady would really help too.
Great, that's awesome. So when you went to hire Angie, your first transaction coordinator, at first you were very nervous, correct? Like, so I guess if somebody else was thinking about making that first hire or hiring a transaction coordinator, would it be safe to say it's almost normal that you feel that way?
Oh, it definitely is. I think because there's so much uncertainty with how many sales you're going to get. You just think, well, what am I going to do if I don't have enough sales to pay? Well, the beautiful thing with Angie is she charges per transaction, which that took a lot of that worry. It really did. But in hindsight, I could have hired a full-time person.
Sure. With the amount of volume you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Those are business decisions that come up and you look at it. And
I'm still looking at that.
Sure. Yeah. Good. But I think that's important because as people insert leverage into their business, it's always nervous up front. It's very nervous. Anytime that first hire, and actually, I mean, as you hire people, it never really goes away. I don't think if that ever goes away, I think that there's something that you can learn from that fear almost going, I'm nervous about paying this person if I don't, my business goes down.
Right.
Like those will help you make wise decisions. And I think that's great. Something else I think that you hit on is that you helped eliminate some of that fear by going transaction based.
Right.
Yeah, that's great because if you were to hire somebody full time up front and your business went down, now that becomes a liability in your company. So looking forward in the future, right? What are you looking to accomplish? What's important on you? What's on your radar?
Well, every year I want to surpass what I did the year before.
Okay.
But ultimately, if I can at least do what I did the year before, I am motivated weekly. I don't really look at that big goal because that overwhelms me. So I look at my week and I celebrate, little successes, and then I look at what I could do different the next week. So if I look at one week and I didn't meet what I should have, I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's only 1 or 2 sales. I'll just change and I'll get it next week.
Yeah.
So that's and then I never want to quit doing this. I don't think I'll ever retire.
Sure. Good. Yeah.
You can just do what you can do it at your own pace.
Do it at your own pace. Do what's important for you and your family at that spot in time. And that's why real estate's the greatest opportunity.
It sure is.
You can work as hard as you want and get rewarded as hard as you want. You can work as less as you want. You have that flexibility inside of real estate. So that's great. What if you could go back and tell yourself one thing when you're first getting started, what would it be?
Follow the Keller Williams, like right from the beginning, all the classes, all the courses.
Sure.
I didn't.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't initially is because I kept my job at first. And I knew I couldn't do that anymore.
Sure.
Well, then when I started, I got so busy. I should have hired, so I had time to go to class.
Sure.
That's the thing that if I could start all over, just take it from the beginning. Take every class, whether it's technology or learning, anything about leads generating. And
you would have spent a little bit more time learning up front.
Yes, absolutely. Don't just take your exam and jump in.
Run.
No,
sure. Okay.
Because I struggled more than I would have needed to.
Sure. That's actually a really good point too that you brought up. So you worked, you got your license and you worked. You were
for 6 months.
For about 6 months. Okay. So you were working 6 months, and then during that 6 months, how was your real estate production?
Not very well.
Not okay.
You know what? Because I just couldn't do it enough during the day, and then at night, that was my time for my family, and it just you can't do 2 jobs. It's like working 2 full-time jobs. You can't do it.
Well, I think that's important to touch on because we have a lot of associates that they get in that way. They start that way, right? And I think it's good. I think it's good for them to hear from somebody like yourself going, that's exactly how I started, working full time and doing it. And that was my result, was I didn't really get anything out of it. But now you're the number 1 producer after jumping in full time and working at it for 3 years, 4 years. And that's what, I think that's inspiring, because anybody working part-time right now can go, oh wow, I can do that.
Well, the thing is, it's back to that fear factor again, where, well, what am I going to do? If I don't have any sales. Yeah. Oh, and if you do get a sale, you're not going to get paid for 45 days or whatever. You know what? It will all fall into place. And when you are doing this full time, it's feast or famine. You just get on you hit the road running.
Yeah, and you go.
And this is your job.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to worry about that 8-hour job.
Right. Yeah, you have the full 8 hours now of lead generating, and meeting people. And
it's just so much easier.
Right.
And you can do it in your pajamas.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just getting started. What are some things you do to ensure that you put your family first before your business?
I think what's most important for me is that I wake up early in the morning before everyone else, and I clean my desk from the night before, because when I come home it's like whatever. But I organize my day. I'm still old school. I write a timeline. I don't know why, but if I just write it down by the hour, so that when I start making phone calls or my phone starts ringing, I look at my timeline and I make adjustments where I can, and I'm never overwhelmed. I can see it. So
tell me about your timeline. What is that? Tell us a little bit.
I have it by the hour.
Okay.
It starts at 8, goes to 8, and then I will write in if I have a doctor's appointment, I have to take my son someplace, have it time blocked, and then when I start scheduling, I can see what I can offer, where I can put it. Okay. And of course, sometimes things fall apart, but it's never a big deal, because I'm not looking past today. Sure. I'm just not looking past that.
Awesome. Well, what if somebody says they want to book you like on Thursday or next week, Wednesday?
You know what? And I have that, and I put it in.
Okay.
But I don't really worry about that.
Okay.
I mean, because I wouldn't have scheduled it if it wasn't open. But I don't really worry about that.
But when next Wednesday comes, you rewrite your schedule.
I rewrite it and make really adjustments.
Good. I really like that, because that's what you're doing is, I really like that, because you're aligning your subconscious to accomplish what you need to accomplish for the day.
That's correct.
And you're telling your subconscious. So you could leave, go to your doctor's appointment, and you know what's coming up.
Yes. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm flustered.
Yeah.
That's great. It's all there.
Yeah. Awesome. When you're talking with your clients, is there anything specifically that you say? Like, let's say it's on your list of upcoming business. It's like the people that you're still trying to develop business or relationships with. Is there anything that you say, or anything that you're kind of auto-programmed? I notice that a lot of top producers, they kind of say the same things.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Is there anything that is like your go-to script that you always use, or a go-to like way you speak?
Well, I think one thing that I find myself saying all the time when I end a conversation is that never be afraid to reach out to me with questions or concerns, because this is a big decision. And I want to do everything right for you. Sure. And I don't want you to have any questions, because if you have questions, I need to help you. Because I didn't tell you something.
Sure. So your go-to, it's a script that you use a lot, is just, I'm here for you.
All the time.
I care about you. I'm here to help.
Right.
You never say, I'm going to sell you your house. It's how can I help you get the house that you want.
And you know what? And I also tell them, I want what's best for you.
Yeah.
That's, and I mean that from my heart.
You put them ahead of you.
Always.
Well, we did. We got to interview a star today, Katy Charlier, who's absolutely amazing. She's got a great story, and we're very blessed. And thank you for sharing your words of wisdom with us. And we look forward to see what you do in 2019. So.
Pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.